Hi, mate. You're welcome to my class on manipulated corset. So in this class, I'll be showing you how I achieve my manipulated corset. So all the secrets, the sewing, and everything I'm going to be teaching in the class. So what we are going to be learning in this class, we are going to be working on a plus size and on a slim person. So for the plus size, we are going to start with the plus size pattern first. So the first thing we are going to get is our lines. So I'm going to start off by plotting my models under bust 616. So I'm going to be marking 16 for the under bust, and our nipple point is 12.5. Okay, and now this is a big model, so I just folded my paper into two equal half because I don't want to use the other side. If I try to use the other side, because she is bigger, I'll not be able to have full measurement for it. So I'm going to be plotting our half length. So what I do is my half length, I just go down from the person's under bust by 4. It works for everyone. And another way is you can just measure on your model or your customer, because most times this one is not always so precise. You get it. So now the next thing we want to do now is to get a hammer. So for hammer is a bust divided by 4. So our bust is 46. So we want to get the armhole line. So 46 divided by 4, that's 11.5. Then we are going to do minus. So from bust 39 to 42, you do minus 1.75. For bust 38 downwards, you do minus 1.5. Okay, and then from bust 42 upward to 48 to 47, you do minus 2.25. And then from bust 48 to 50, you do minus 2.5. So for her, she's within bust 42 to 47, so I'll be doing minus 2.5. So now let's just get that here and then do minus 2.25. Sorry, so this is minus 2.25. So harmole is, I don't want to calculate with my phone, so I'm trying to get it. So harmole is 9.25. I don't know if that's clear. So what we did was to divide our bust by 4 and then did minus 2.25 because she is a plus size. Okay, so I'm going to try to leave the calculation on the group for everyone to see. So now I'm going to be connecting with my marker like so. So I hope that the lines are visible. So like that. And this is a half length. Okay. So now this is just like a top. So we are making a skirt to be drawing, adding the skirt measurement on. No, we're not going to be a pattern for that. So we are going to be adding that on the skirt itself. So the next thing we are going to be doing now is to start plotting. So to plot for our own nipple to nipple, we'll be using 4.25. So I'm going to start from here. Yes. So now we want to get a nipple to nipple. So we are going to take it all the way down. Okay. And we are going to be connecting this together. So yeah. So now for our that, intake, we are going to be using 3. So we take 3 and divide it into 2. So on the under bust only down. So it's very simple. Just pay attention to this class. So just connect this. So from bust, um for people that are not busty that fall under cup A, you can use for this dark intake, you can use 1.5 and then you share it into two, then that's 0.75 to this side, 0.75 to this other side. People that fall under cup B, you can use two, that's 1 1. People that fall under cup C, you can use 2.5. People that fall under cup D, like this person actually cup D, so I'm using 3. People that fall under cup E can use 3.5, and people that fall under cup extra large, you can use 4. Do you get? So yeah. So it's just depending on how full the bust is, you can now do your calculation and then use it for the data intake. So for this person, 3 is just perfect for me. So next thing we are going to do now is to add up a bust measurement. So like I said before, a bust is 46. So 46 divided by 4, that would give us I think that should be around 11. Okay, 11.5. So we are just going to put our bust measurement here. And our waist is 38. So 38 divided by 4 as well. So we are putting that on our half length. So it's giving us 9.5. So this is where 9.5 is. So we are going to have to return these 3. That's by the side so that we have a balanced equation. And we are going to connect it together. So now to get the measurement that is supposed to be around, top length area, we're supposed to go down and mark the hip measurement. So because this paper is not going down, so let's just assume that this side I marked is the hip measurement. So the person's hip measurement is 47. Okay. So that way it's going to give you like I'm going to do it on the other pattern. You're going to understand better. So I'm going to give you like a guide on what you are doing. Do you get me? Let's say this is where it is stopping in. I'll just connect from this waist and then just mark it to where the hip is stopping. So now for the top length, this place is perfect. So we don't want a situation whereby here will not be too wide or will be too tight. It is better you get it on the hip measurement and then just connect it to that point. So now the next thing we want to do now is to put our side that line. So on your nipple point, you come here and then you take 1 1. This is standard for everybody. And then for me, you just go out by 2.25 and then you just connect this like this and then you connect this like this. So don't forget, this is our armhole, this is our nipple, this is our under bust, this is our half length, and then this is the blouse length. So actually a blouse length is 24.5. So this is what I have on the paper. So if for yours is not enough, then you can go ahead to join the paper so that I can get the perfect measurement for that. So now we are coming to the shoulder area. So for our shoulder is 15. So we are going to plot 8 here. Okay, and then we are going to plot the same 8 here. Shoulder slope for me, I use for the front, I just do 1. So our neck width is 3. So we connect the shoulder slope to this point. The reason we are doing this is because the corset, and this corset we are doing is with a zip, and then you're going to see how snatched it's going to be. So just follow me, just a zipper. So we are going to be connecting this. So we come to this place, we are going to divide it by 2. So the reason why we're doing this is because we are going to be, you know, we're going to be having like a shoulder soft stuff there. So we need to do this so that we can have access to that place. So if not, if you don't have to do this, you can just, if you're doing like an off shoulder, you do all these ones are not necessary. If you get, so now I'm going to connect my armhole like so. So just a minute to see if what I'm showing you is clear. Okay, very clear. So now the next thing we are going to be doing is we are going to be coming to the shoulder, then we are going to share it into 2. So it's going to give us 2.5. So I'm going to be connecting So this part wasn't necessary. So we're supposed to start plotting from the nipple. So let me just erase it off so that it doesn't confuse. So from here we are going to connect it to this nipple point. You get. So after plotting here, we are going to open up this place. We are going to open up a dot by 1 1. This is a standard as well, works for everyone. So on this nipple point, I'll go up by 0.75, and then I will connect this to this point. Okay, and then I'll connect this other part as well. So now what we are going to be doing is we are going to be closing this that, because I mean when we cut we have shortage already on the shoulder. So to avoid that, so that our shoulder is still complete, we are going to be closing this. If you notice, you see that this side is no longer equal, so just ignore that. So now we are going to replot our 8 inches for the shoulder, because when we take this out we haven't shortage already. So we'll plot it here. Okay, so don't forget that we are supposed to do the shoulder slope. So to achieve the shoulder slope, maintain your 3 and just follow the flow of your ruler. So the reason I say you should follow the flow is because we don't want to come here and start marking 1. No, it would, this side is going to be excess. So follow the flow of your ruler, maintaining that 3, and then making sure that you are using the gauge for that 8 inches, and then just flow. So this way you have a perfect armor. Do you get it? So now it's time for us to now curve. To curve, you make sure that your French curve is sitting well, touching your 8 here, and then touching your bust measurement here. Do you get? So that way, or rather your hammer, just follow the flow. So you follow the flow that way. You have replotted your shoulder. So if you are doing the posterior to the shoulder, you can follow this too. But that is not what we are doing in this class. So in this class, what we are trying to do is we are trying to get, a, a precise stuff. Yeah. So now for the cup height, I'll just do for cleavage. So now this is a standard neckline here, right? 3 by 3. Okay. So for cleavage, I'll use this nip to get a cleavage. So I'll just do 7. If you want it more modest, you can. Okay, maybe we should just maintain this one here. So now we are going to be adding our over bust. So our over bust is supposed to be 10. So that's from the under bust too, following the fullness of the boobs. But I think I will just maintain 9.5. So we'll mark it here, and then we'll mark it here. So for her, because of the depth of her boobs, I'm not going to be doing half inch on both sides. Okay, I'm going to be doing more than half inch on both sides. So if you're working for a cup A, then half inch is just okay. But for her, I'm not going to be doing half inch. I'm going to be doing at least 0.75 for the upper tightening. And this 0.75 works for almost all bossy people. Okay, so I'm just going to mark here and here. So now this one, I'm going to blend it in. Is if you can connect your your curve to get to almost this point, that's going to do us well. It's going to give you better results. So just go this way. See the way I did that, because she's posterior, so that's why we have to do this. And don't forget that we are maintaining here as our over bust, because we want it to be modest. And we are going to be connecting this like this. Okay, so now after we do this, we are going to connect this to meet the upper part, and then this one we can now decide how we want it to flow. Some people, they just leave it straight like that, but for the sake of this class, I think I'm going to be doing something else with that. I'm going to just blend it in like this. Okay, you get it now. So it goes like that, and it goes like this. Another thing I always like to look out for is I try to mesh these two together to be sure they are equal. Usually they are not always equal. See what I did there? Then I'll just blend, and then just connect it to meet that point. So now note that anything you are working with, you need your overboss to get your tightening. Your overboss is very important. Then after you get your overboss, if the style you are trying to create is lower, then you can now replot. Don't go ahead and anywhere you mark, then you now put your overboss tag there. No, there's going to be a problem. There's going to be an error there. You get so get your overboss first. After you get your overboss, then when you are done, if you now want to replot, you can replot. And if your own style is higher, you can now go even more higher. You get it. So that overboss is a guide to get a perfect tightening for this work. Like I said, from boss cup AB, you can use 0.5, but from C upward, or rather from D, you can start using 0.75. Do you get? So now let's move on to the next thing. So now the next thing we want to do is on our side is like a Queen Anne stuff, Queen Anne neckline stuff. So I'm just going to go like this, right, like go in and just get that plot. So for me to get that plot, I needed to close up first to get that plot to get so that it sits well. Another way you can do this Queen Anne is that you can finish joining everything and then now cut out the shape of the neck, cut out here and cut out here. That way it prevents your pattern from gaping. So if I want to do that, I'll just follow when I'm cutting, I just follow through. Then when I am done cutting everything, then I can now get that shape you get and then proceed that way. But because this one is a manipulated corset, we are going to be joining this to this one. It's not like the other ones you cannot work, but because for the purpose of this teaching, I need to do it that way. So another thing we are going to look at for now is to close the side road that. The reason we are closing the side road that I'm going to explain because of things like this. We realize that the measurement by the side on the bust will have some little space, and then you might just want to blend it in with your ruler. Okay, when you blend it in with your ruler, this is what you get. Okay, so now we are going to go ahead to work on the back pattern before I come back to do our waist tightening and all of that. So now for the back pattern, what we are going to be needing, we are going to be needing the armhole. Remember the armhole we use for the front is 9.25, and then the waistline we use is 20. So now to replicate that at the back. For the back, I'm going to start working like this, okay, because I like my zipper to be at the other side. It's just a personal thing. So for the back, first I'm first going to be taking out 2 inch. This 2 inch is just for me to be able to draft my back neckline, okay? It is very important. So just pay attention to this place and see what I'm going to do. And then to get my armhole, I'm going to start marking from after that 2 inch. So my armhole is 9.25. So this is it. Now, to mark my waist, I will not start marking from after 2. No, I will not do that. Remember our waist is 20. I will not start marking from after 2. No, I'm not going to do that. If I do that, that's an error. So I'll start marking from the beginning of my paper. The reason is because the back and the front is not the same. The front we have boobs there, but the back we don't. So if we try to follow the procedure for the front, that's going to be a problem. Okay, we end up having funny, measurements. Do you get it? So now I'm going to connect this. Let me use my marker so it's more visible. So now this is our half inch for the back. Okay, this is our armhole for the back. So now basically these are the three major lines we need for the back, and then this is the part where I said we are going to be plotting the neckline for the back. So now after doing this, the next thing I'm going to be doing is basically for the same person, it's almost the same measurement procedure, just literally two changes because of different styles achievement. So now for the back, now I'm going to be plotting my bust measurement here. So before I plot my bust measurement, I want to show us a trick. So before we go ahead, let's first get our shoulder, which is 8, right? As an armhole, So plot this like this. After doing this, remember the neck width is 3. So on my 3, I'm going to go up by 1. Can you see why I said I needed this? So I'm going to connect these two together. And then the next, I'm going to put my shoulder slope here like that right there. And the next thing is I'm going to be doing the shape of my neckline at the back like that. So now, next thing we want to do now is to get our zipper contouring. Our zipper contouring, I like to take one here and I'll just slope it. So now this model I'm working with, our back goes in so much. So for our back measurement, for our back, I think I got 15. Trying to confirm if it's 15. Please 1 minute, 2 seconds. Yes, our back I got 15.5. So 15.5. So the way I always do it is I come to from my neckline and I check, see where we need 15.5. Can you see the distance? So we are trying to eliminate about 2.75. So now we are going to share 2.75 into 2 equal half. I know that most people just say you take one here, take one here. No, it doesn't work for this kind of people. So now to this point, because I've shared 2.75, I come here and I open up here by 2.75 and I come down again and I do the same thing. Don't forget that this shoulders, this zipper 1 inch slope goes down as well. Okay. And then after doing this, I can now put in my waist measurement. So our waist is 38. So we say 38 divided by 4. This way, when I walk this way, with the way the depth of our back is, I've eliminated all the bulge that is supposed to be there. So now to mark my waist measurement, I'll not start from the beginning of my paper. Now I'll start from where my zip is starting from so that I don't have shortage. And then I'll just plot my 9.5 like so, and then put up my dart, which is 1 inch, because I need to pick that at the back. So now this shoulder slope is going to stop where my measurement is. Okay, so that it doesn't, it's not too sharp this point. I'm going to close this, taking all of this out so that there are no issues at the back. So when I close this, when I finish sewing with this that I've taken out, and I'm going to still reblend because now this side is no longer equal. So I'm going to reblend this to that point back. I don't know if this is clear. So after doing this, this is what I'm going to have. Then I can go ahead to add up the measurement. Our bust is 11.5. So I'm going to connect 11.5 to this one. And the measurement I need here is actually, let's check. The measurement I need here is 11. So I'm just going to plot my 11 here. And I'm just going to just blend. I know it looks straight, but because of the dots, it would have been better if it was here. You get it? So because of the dots. And the next thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to plot a dot. To plot the dot, you need to close this place up and just plot the dot somewhere here. Okay, let's get that line. Once you get that line, it is now easy. You can now open up your dots. So we do half here and half here, and do half here and half here. For the up, I'll just do 5. So for the down, it's supposed to be 5 as well, but the pattern is not, So I'll just figure it out. So here it's not going to be so pointy. Okay. And I'll just connect this as well to that point. So that'll be that for that part. So yeah. So now connect my armhole. The way I'm connecting my armhole is just to come here. Make sure that your armhole is touching, the curve is touching both the armhole lines here and this place. Another way you can do it is you can check what you have here. Usually it's not always more than 1 inch. Get it? So that will give you a guide to, curve your armor correctly. So now to snatch, let's go back to the front. This is how I snatch. I know that I'm using a zipper, but I'm still going to snatch so that the waist area is going to be very defined. So to do that, I'm going to be using half inch. I'm going to come here, mark half inch. Can you see? And I go down, mark 1.5. Then on that 1.5 line, I'll mark 0.75. Watch out what I'm going to do. So I'm going to use my curve, then connect these two together like this. Then the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to use the back of my curve, connect this to the blouse length. Then you can either close this close it so that you see what you are doing. Then you connect this one. If you notice, this my own is not really getting to there. For some people, it gets up. See, you just blend it. Make sure that it comes back to this one. You cannot take all of this out from the dress, and it will not give it that snatching effect. Don't worry about your zip. It's going to zip up. So I'm going to replicate the same thing for the back. Now our back is about to have more shape. It's not going to be straight anymore. So we'll mark our half here, go down by 0.1.5 and then go in by 0.75 and connect it, okay, and then connect it to the armhole. The next thing now is to connect it to the corset, sorry, the blouse length, and that will be for the pattern tracking. So the next thing we are going to do now is to cut. But for this one, I'm going to do like a design at the back, something to just make the back look nice. I just do this and then have a buttons here while our zipper can stop here. So because she's big and I don't want that place to start looking funny, so I want to bring it up a little like this. I don't know if we do it this way, if it's going to sit well. Okay, since it's not corset, it's not going to look funny. So let's just open it up like this. While we have this, okay. So here it's going to be the opening and here it's going to be the up. So now we have our pattern ready. So not completely ready because the shoulder here we have that back we use 3. So what we need here is 3.5. So let's correct the back. So from here, if we check 3.5, this is how wide our back neckline is supposed to be. Should you get it? So now we can just blend and get the actual width for the back. So now the next thing is to cut. Before we cut this, we are going to close this up. We are cutting here out and all that. So now another thing we want to do for this one is that I would like to give it a shape. Okay, maybe I'll just leave it. When I'm done sewing, I can now cut out the shape that I want. So for now, I'm going to maintain this to be straight like this. So now let's move on to the slim model.